this should be better. For those of you who are coming in, who are watching this video, I had to redo this video. I had to delete the other one because the audio on my phone apparently isn't, the microphone isn't good. So I'm just redoing it right now. And I'm just gonna wait to see if people say if they're having any problems here. Hey, Micaiah. Micaiah. All right. Hey, y'all, let me know if the audio sounds better on this one before I start. And I ain't gonna be on here too long. I gotta go out. I'm just gonna give people a few minutes. I want to make sure that the audio sounds okay. Someone said good so far. Okay, good. Okay, good, good, good. All right, this is the microphone. Anyway, now that we got that out of the way, so glad to see you guys. Again, you might be able to hear it, not sure, but I'm just getting over a cold, and but I'm doing much better. I woke up last night. When I woke up last night and I was sweating, I knew that it had broke. Um, I had a small fever, very small fever, but it went away really quick. Um, my throat, it started with my throat, and once that happens, I'm like, oh, what is going on, man? How did this happen to me? And so, out of all the times, this is when you just want to relax, you want to chill and all that. Now you got a cold that's kind of messing, putting a damper on things. So, but anyway, it just so happens the house that we're staying in, it has a lemon tree. So I took some lemon, and the lemons are ready to be picked. And I wasn't gonna pick them at first because I was like, did we pick them or what? But I saw these dead, rotten lemons on the ground. I was like, shoot, I'm gonna pick these joints. So yeah, I picked them, made some tea with black seed oil in it, um, put some honey in there. So between that, we went to Sprouts. I don't know if any of y'all know that store, Sprouts. They have, it's like a natural grocery store kind of thing. Um, so we went there and we got some other stuff there too. Nicole had already brought some teas and all that stuff with her, to the point where they stopped me at the airport because they were okay. We just want to make sure this ain't weed you bringing up in, because I thought they were checking me because of the electronics I had in my bag. Nah, they were like, man, forget that. We don't care about the electronics. I want to see if this is weed, and if this is weed, how much? No, no, no. But yeah, I was like, dang, man. And so, but yeah, she's the in-house doctor, and she had already bought a lot of stuff, and so we've been taking that. I've been taking that, taking that, taking that, and today I really feel much, much better now. So I was still doing fine the other day, but today it was just, I mean, the other past 2 days, I just been kind of chugging along. Let's see. The other day we went to Sedona, and so I'll have some video of that. Um, Someone asked, "Can you upload the link to access the Who in the L Are You Following series?" That's all on our Linktree page. If you go to linktree.com, I'm gonna say it slower so you get it. Linktree.com/Journey Man and Woman. It's spelled exactly how you hear it. Linktree.com/ Journey Man and Woman, all one word. And then once you go there, all of our links are on there. All right. So yeah, you'll be able to get to it. Anyway, um, yeah. So we went to Sedona. Very, very nice. Very pretty. A lot of rocks. A lot of the red rocks. So we took plenty of video there. So I'll be uploading some video there. um, in the very near future, once I get back and we get settled and everything. And man, I didn't know. Now, y'all in Texas, you can tell me, I didn't know. I mean, okay. We lived in Southern California, so once you start heading out into the desert area, like if you go out like California City or whatever, you'll see some cacti out there, but not like this. I mean, I'm talking about those tall joints. I don't know what they're called. They have a name, but there are so many of them out here. Like when you start going outside the city of Phoenix, that's all you see is those tall. And those things are tall, man. Cause see, the only time, and I was talking to someone yesterday, I said, I'm sorry. I know I'm gonna sound very ignorant. The only time I've seen cacti like that, I'm sorry, it's in cartoons. I know. I need to get out more, don't I? I need to get out more. But see, ain't that sad? Look, in my mind, I'm sitting up here like, now wait a minute. Now, when I would watch like the Yosemite Sam cartoons, the cactus it was about the same. Look, in my mind, I'm trying to process, not Yosemite Sam, some of them cartoons from back in the day. I'm like, it wasn't that tall. But anyway, it's sad. I know it's sad. It's what happens when you grow up most of your life in the Northeast. But I didn't know they get that tall. I didn't know. I had no idea. And but they're very nice, very nice. Oh yeah, and I saw a Road Runner out there too. But anyway, went to Sedona. We didn't spend too much time out there. I just wanted them and really me. I just wanted to see it and just enjoy the ride. They said it was a very nice ride, and it definitely was. We hit a little traffic, but it was fine. Didn't know at all how free they were out here with ATVs. ATVs are just basically the four wheelers, but you can have like up to four seats in them. And I see people driving it on the streets, on the highway. I'm like, dang, man, I didn't know that. You could do that. Because, they do that in Philly, but you ain't supposed to do that. But here it's legal. And I was like, man, this is pretty cool. So anyway, this go around, we didn't, I wanted to rent one, but we were just kind of moving a little bit on this trip. Um, but it's, nonetheless, it was, that was pretty cool to see. And, but yeah, it's really nice. It's really, really nice. And, trying to think of any strange, or not strange animals, but animals I didn't see where we are. Didn't really see anything that was too much out of ordinary. But it's really nice. Someone said wild coyote. Yeah, I haven't seen those yet, but I know they're out here. And it really depends on where you are in the city. If you're in the city, you're not gonna see any of that. It's only when you start going out a little bit, you're gonna really start seeing that. The other thing, of course, we've also always liked about the West is how bright it is. And when I tell you the amount of sunlight that's out here, it's crazy. Well, crazy in a good way. It's Man, it's a lot of sunlight. Now, what comes with that is the heat, especially during summertime. So, you just kind of work and do what you got to do for that. But the rest of the year, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Like if it's like this the rest of the year, this is nice, man. And now I see why so many people live out here. And it's so funny when I was on on YouTube trying to learn more about the Phoenix area, and you listen to some people saying, "Oh, the traffic is so bad. It's so bad." It's all perspective, man. Now, the traffic that we experienced, it did get a little tight a little bit. Ain't nothing like no New York traffic, man. It's nothing like New York traffic. Um, Philly traffic ain't the worst I've been through. Is New York City traffic. That's the worst because you ain't going nowhere. This is a lot of people, but it ain't as bad as other places I've been, and that's why I say it's all perspective. But from what I understand, there's a lot of people from California moving in here, of course, because people trying to get away from that. A lot of churches. I'm like, man, y'all trying to outdo black folks. Y'all trying to outdo black folks with all these churches out here. I mean, Desert Valley Church. Springs in the desert, the Desert Inn Cafe Baptist Episcopalian Church. I'm like, dang, okay. I mean, literally all over the places there are churches. And I knew there was a lot of Christians that live here, but man, y'all, they on a whole nother level out here. I didn't know that. Another thing I learned too was you have certain sections where you have a lot of Mormons that live out here. Like Mesa is an area where you have a lot of Mormons. They kind of make that one of their home bases. And the person we were talking to yesterday, they were just saying how they got a lock on contracts and what comes in that city in terms of what gets built there and all of that. So I haven't driven, we didn't drive through Mesa yet, but from what I understand, it's really nice. They're really building it up and all of that. But they were like, man, I they were like, man, I try to do everything I can to avoid driving through Mesa. I was like, is that bad? They were like, yeah, it's really that bad because it's a lot of Mormons live there, and I was like, nah, I'm good, I'm good, I'm so good. But anyway, so yeah, when we get back, I'll be able to download all of this video, convert it. I'll edit it up. I'll try to make it fun and all that, because I just be trying to get it out there, so I don't really be editing as much as I could do it. But this time I'll try to make it. I didn't bring the drone with me, so not this trip, because I don't like being rushed when I'm doing my drone. But maybe next time or so. So anyway, let me get to. Oh, let me just say this too, and then I just want to share a little bit the post I did on the community page today. For those of you, if you're doing I hope there are those of you who are listening or watching, and you're doing that black seed oil challenge that we have for this month. Family, we're very serious about that. We want to see our people healed, restored in your health. And like I said, and I'm gonna keep saying this is not about you got to buy it from us. You can go right now down the street or wherever you get natural products and go buy it there. We don't care. What we want to see is our people healed. We want to see our people with wholeness of health. And so wherever you get it, you know. But I'm telling you, you incorporate this in your life on a daily basis for this next, well, it's less than 30 days now. I mean, we're down, almost 15 days now. And you're suffering from, you're dealing with high blood pressure or diabetes, you will see a positive change. You will. And so we're not just saying that just to be saying that. We're saying it because we have enough testimonies that we've shared, testimonies that are still coming in of people saying that how much it's worked. So again, we're in it. So it's still time for you to see something. So if you didn't start it, go ahead and start it now. Before you start it, make sure again, take your measurements before you do the challenge, and then take it after you do the challenge. Okay? Before and after. And then from there you can kind of measure and see how it works. And see the improvement in your life. So we're very, very serious, about this whole the Black Seed Oil Challenge that we're doing this month. Next month we're going to do another challenge, and we're going to be focused just on these challenges in terms of our people's health. We're very committed, as you know, to seeing our people healed, whole, and well, because we know that that's a key to having a much clearer mind to be able to process the stuff that we have to go through out here. And so we're very serious about that. So yeah, if you are dealing with high blood pressure or diabetes, go ahead and come on and jump on in this Black Seed Oil Challenge that we're doing right now, family. And go to the video that it's posted right here on this channel. It goes through all the details of what you need to do. Is extremely simple. It's not difficult. It's not complex at all. Just jump on in and let's do it, okay? Because we don't want to just talk about it. We want to be about it. And this is a very simple and easy way that you can see measurable, tangible improvement in your health, okay? Black seed oil isn't expensive at all. That's why we said we just want to, Our goal is to focus on low hanging fruit issues such as diabetes and high blood pressure. Okay? Too many of our people have been suffering from this for such a long time, and we don't need to do this. We don't need to suffer from this. You understand how many people have been popping these pills for years and years and years? And remember, the medical industry isn't interested in seeing you heal. They want to see you as a repeat customer. We're trying to show our people how to get away from the medical industry and start doing for yourself. And you're going to see the improvement in your life, even how you manage stress and other things that may come your way. Okay? All right. So I just want to make sure that you guys, if you haven't been doing it, and you've been thinking about it, it's not too late. You can still jump in. It's got 15, 16 days left in this month. Still jump on in and let's check this out, and you'll definitely see the difference. Okay? Take your measurements before and then take your measurements after. At the end, send that in to us, email it to us, and then whoever has the most improved changes, you're going to win something. All right? So, yeah, we're very committed to that. Next month, we're going to have another one as well. All right? The other thing I just wanted to touch on, too, and I saw Violet in the house. Good to see you, sis. Um, I'm bringing this up on my screen. Well, not bringing it up on my screen. Hey, thank you, Nguzo. Oh, yes. Thank you for doing that, too. Yes, I finally monetized the channel. And I'm going to tell you why I decided to do that. Because what we're doing right now with this page is that what we're doing is we're going to be focused on the health stuff. You know what I mean? And getting our people. We're going to be focused on lifestyle, health, and wellness. As far as like when we start the things we were doing up to this point in terms of teaching, like, spiritual, biblical kind of teachings, all of that has never stopped. We're still doing it, but we're going to do that over on mybondtube.com. All of that's going to be done over on mybondtube.com. All right? That's where you're going to hear all of that. So the Who in the L series, where we do these deep dives into spiritual, things such as, when we get into the Bible and really trying to understand, okay, where did this thing come from? Who are the people behind it and all of that stuff? All of that is already over on mybondtube.com. So if you notice, we've taken all of that stuff down here on YouTube, and we're moving all of that has been moved over to mybondtube.com. All right. So by doing that, what we're doing now is this channel, this page that you're on right now, we're going to be more focused on the health, wellness, and healing of our people. And that's really what the focus is now going to be on over time. Over time. I mean, I'll still talk about, bring up some things like I'm getting ready to bring up something right now, but for the most part, that's what you're going to see between now and the end of the year. You're going to start seeing it, because I can't do it just switch on a dime. I got to do it gradually. So by the end of the year, you're going to see it really convert over to more of a health and wellness kind of channel. We're going to still be the same people like we've always been, but like I said again, all the teachings and stuff that we've done when dealing with spiritual issues, all of that has been and will continue to be over on mybondtube.com. So I just want to be very clear with that. So yeah, so now I said, okay, since we're taking that direction, why not monetize it? Because I can take that money and that can go have YouTube pay for BondTube. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're doing. So yeah, so really appreciate anybody, when you see that little $ thing, if you want to contribute that way, that's another way you can contribute to keep this thing going, and really appreciate it. So anyway, but it's no requirement. I always want to make that clear. There's no requirement on that. So yeah, thank you for that. That was a good reminder for me. Let's see, what else? Okay, so let me talk about this post there real quick, okay? I'll just read this to you. Now this guy right here, his name is Rabbi Manis Friedman. And I had to check this to make sure that, because I'm like, if I'm going to post about these folks, I want to make sure that I'm quoting them directly. And so this is Rabbi Manish Friedman. All right, this is on our community page. And this is his full quote. Because again, you know how I am. I don't like taking people out of context. I want to hear everything they said, the page before and the page after. This is his full quote, and I even give you the link to the page where it comes from, which is a Jewish operated page. All right, so it ain't me. This is them saying it. Let's see here. This is what he had to say. He said, I don't believe in Western morality, i.e., don't kill civilians or children, don't destroy holy sites, don't fight during holiday seasons, don't bomb cemeteries, don't shoot until they shoot first because it's immoral. So he doesn't believe in those type of rules. And then what he said is this: the only way to fight a moral war is the Jewish way. Destroy their holy sites, kill men, women, children, and cattle. And that's what he believes. And it's not just him. All these people believe that. And it comes out of their culture. So he believes that it's, and I said, well, maybe this dude is either dead or maybe he ain't, maybe he's not really a rabbi anymore. Oh no, honey, he's still the rabbi, like one of these top rabbis that you find on YouTube. So he's still doing his thing. And I'm sitting up there like, the fact that someone can say something like this and still be on social media platforms, still writing articles, but yet if I dare say anything about this, I'm the one that gets flagged. That's crazy. I'm gonna read it one more time. And then we're going to talk about it as to why I posted it, okay? Hold on. Read it one more time. Hold on. Yeah, let me read it. Here it goes. This is what he says. So one more time for those in the back. He said, I don't believe in Western morality, i.e., don't kill civilians or children, don't destroy holy sites, don't fight during holiday seasons, don't bomb cemeteries, don't shoot until they shoot first because it's immoral. The only way to fight a moral war is the Jewish way. Destroy their holy sites, kill men, women, and children, and cattle. This is what he says. Now, I'm going to stop there and I'm going to get to the rest of the post. When you look at slavery, prior to the transatlantic slave trade, this is the same tactic that Europeans, including these people, and you know when I say these people, you know what I'm talking about, right? Europeans that participated, along with these people, when they came into Africa, they used the same tactic. See, a lot of times we talk about the natives that was on this land, talking about here in the United States. In the United States, what they did was that when they came here, well, prior to it being called United States, okay, I'll just say for the naturalists out there, Turtle Island, okay, I'll just say that, all right? When they came here to this land, they were fighting these people. Now, regardless, even though these people came in with guns, and cannons and stuff like that, they still had a very hard time fighting the natives of this land because they were so tied into nature. The spirituality of a people is like their foundation. You take away the spirituality of a people, then for the most part, you got them. So it wasn't until, I want to say it was like the 1800s. I can't remember the name of the general. He came up with this bright idea. And the bright idea, when I say bright idea, I'll say a dark idea. He understood that the natives of this land were so intrinsically, or just so intertwined with the land. They launched a campaign to destroy as many water buffalo as possible, because the buffalo is seen as um, it's an animal of one that you respect. Yeah, they would kill it, for food or whatever, but it wasn't anywhere like we're gonna just wipe them all out. But they launched into this heavy campaign in wiping out all these buffaloes, and you may have seen the pictures I posted, and you can look this up as well, where they're standing on piles and piles. I'm talking about very high of skulls of and bones of buffalo that they killed. The United States, what they used to do, yeah, thank you, Nguzo, yeah, Ulysses Grant. What they did is that they used to go up and down the East Coast, and they said, hey, listen, what we're trying to do is we're trying to take out these natives, and the only way we can break their spirit, is by we know we take out this buffalo, that's it. So they used to have hunting parties. They used to go to these different handout flyers and up and down the East Coast and say, hey, listen, you can kill as many buffalo as you want. We got trains now. You can take the trains, come on out here, and you can just hunt to your heart's content. You're not killing them for food. You're just killing them just because, for the fun of it. And that's what they did. And one of the main Indian chiefs at that time that they was fighting against, once he saw that was happening, he was like, you know what? They got us. We done. And that's exactly what happened. Because the spirituality of these people, it was so tied into the animals, the trees, and all that kind of stuff, right? And again, y'all, I'm not sitting up here talking about we got to worship animals and trees, okay? So don't go off on that. But my point is that was their spirituality. Now that tactic was not a new one, because they did the same thing in Africa. Because and the reason why I spent time talking about the native part is because that's all we hear about. We don't hear about what they did in Africa. When they went to Africa, they did the same thing. They saw the collective spirituality of a people that was being practiced in all those different parts of Africa. And today, to make it convenient, I guess, for people, we just call it African spirituality. What they did, the first thing they did was they said they redefined the spirituality of the people on that continent. They said this is all wicked. It's all evil. It's all demonic. All of it is. The only thing that's not demonic is our Christianity. Our Christianity is the light of the world. And that's what they did. So they went after the collective spirituality of people all throughout the continent. Now again, like I've said, and I'll continue to say this over and over again, not all African spirituality has to be seen on a case-by-case basis, because you got different areas in it, some that are very interesting, some that are very good, and some that's not good. Okay, so when I say African spirituality, I understand that it's a wide open tent. The same thing for Christianity. It's no different for Christianity. In Christianity, you have some people that are doing some good things. But also in Christianity, you have the KKK. You got white supremacists. You understand what I'm saying? You got Catholics. So it's, you know what I'm saying? So again, for the sake of argument, we're going to call that white or European spirituality. So European spirituality is going to likewise have a wide array of different things. There's some things in it that are good. There are some things you need to leave all the way alone. It's the same thing I would say for African spirituality. But what European spirituality did was came in and said, nah, all y'all stuff is evil. All of it is wicked. All of it is demonic. And because of that, what has happened is we brought that mindset over to when we got, scattered in all these different lands and all of that. We kept that with us. And what they did is they reprogrammed our minds to think of anything that has to do with us is evil, is wicked, is demonic. One of the things Nicole and I have been really looking at is really our interest, my personal thing, I'm not looking for another God to worship. Okay? Some people may think that, but that's not the case at all. I know who brought me to this point. I know who was with me as a child. I know who's with me even now. So I'm not looking for another God or another deity to call upon. What my focus and our focus here on this platform is primarily is um, to expose and to rid ourselves of the lies and the deception that has been put on us. One of the things Christianity did to us as a people is that it disconnected us from His nature. It disconnected us from His nature, and it made us look at nature in a way. It used His nature as a punishment. What do I mean by that? When we would be out there picking cotton, and if you don't pick cotton fast enough, or you don't meet your qualification, you get beaten. So now when we would look at nature, all of a sudden now we just we look at it with disdain, because now it's something that, oh my gosh, when I think of cotton, I just it's a point of disdain. But when we came out, what we came out of, all of that was seen as part of it. Was These were different expressions of our Creator. All of it was. But with these wicked demonic people, what they did is they took this stuff, and all they do is destroy, pervert, pervert. That's all they do. And they used us in the process of converting that. There were times, and I've talked about this, where our people would, we wanted to get into foraging, because we would look at foraging as a way to get our medicines and get food and stuff like that. So what do these people do? They pass laws that outlaw our people from foraging. So this is why, like I said, what we're doing right now is we got to relearn all of that. So our focus here, just so we're clear here, is to clear out the lies so that we can get to know who our Creator really is. Do you understand? And so how do we start with that? Well, number one, we talk about grounding, getting out here with your feet, you know, connecting to the earth. We're not worshiping the earth, okay? Not that at all. Getting as much sunlight as possible on our skin, and learning about the impact of sunlight on your life, inside of you, your skin, all of that. Learning about that. Learning about different herbs and fruits and vegetables and how they restore the body and all of that stuff. So we're just starting with that. And then from there, we just keep building up from there. This is not calling out different deities and different gods and goddesses and stuff like that. Now, some people may take it that way, but we're not. We're not. There's no need for us to be calling on different gods and goddesses and stuff like that. Now, some people, you want to go that way, that's you. That's not me, and that's not us here. But we want to know. In order to understand a Creator, you got to first learn about His creation. So that's what we're trying to do now. We want to learn about His creation, because by learning about His creation, we learn more about our Creator. And that's what we're doing. It's plain and simple. And there is no book on earth that can contain the greatness and just the depths and the heights of the Creator that created all of this. There's no book on the earth that can contain all of that. None. Not at all. If you can buy a book on Amazon that just perfectly describes who your Creator is, I would say that you're aiming too small. Because it's something that can be sold, it's something that can be controlled. You can't really control nature. You can try, but you can't. And so anyway, that's what we're doing on this. Now let me get back to this post here. I saw someone leave a comment here. Mm-hmm. Okay, sorry about that. All right, let me get back to this post. So let me read this. I'm gonna read this again for those that are just coming in. Someone asked for the link to this. I saw that as I was sitting up here running my mouth. The link is actually on the post on the community page. So right under this write up on a post, I know you really can't see it. There you go. Right under it, there's a link, and that's the link to the full page. But let me read it one more time for the benefit of those who are just coming in. This is from a Rabbi Manis Friedman, and he says, "I don't believe in Western morality, i.e., don't kill civilians or children. Don't destroy holy sites. Don't fight during holiday seasons. Don't bomb cemeteries. Don't shoot until they shoot first because it's immoral." He doesn't believe that. The only way to fight a moral war is a Jewish way. Destroy their holy sites. Kill men, women, children, and cattle. Rabbi Manis Friedman. Okay. Anyway, so this is what else I wrote. Now pay attention. All right. I said, so every time you use the words shalom, mishpachah, khan, ish, or ish, isha, however you say it, you are embracing the same culture that gave us people like this rabbi. That's what you're doing when you're using those words. Now, we've said many, many times on this platform, I don't have any hatred. I'm not going to treat anybody any different. If you come up and say, hey, shalom, Dwayne, or shalom, everybody, I still see you as a friend. You know what I mean? I don't lose it over stuff like that, okay? I don't. All right. We all are in different places, so that's not it at all. But now when you learn better, you do better. You understand what I'm saying? So when you're using these words, this is what you're doing. You're embracing the same culture that this rabbi came out of. And some people can say, well, and I put this as a deflection argument because this is what typically people will do. Well, the English language is full of spells. Well, we know this, right? I said, well, I said, so you reach out to another language used by your oppressors, telling yourself that this is the better option. So again, so the English language, we already know that's full of all kinds of stuff. We get that, okay? But I have the option not to reach out to something else that's even more poisonous. You know what I'm saying? Why would I reach out to that? You understand what I'm saying? Okay, wait a minute. But Dwayne, if you had an enemy you needed to destroy before they destroy you, would you not fight hard? I don't know. Once you explain that a little bit more, okay, for me, okay? Explain that a little bit more, what you're trying to communicate there. So yes, so this language, when we talk about this language, we talk about the Hebrew language. And this is something we've talked about in our various series on our community and on Bantu. When I come back and once I get myself together, we're going to dive even further because I'm going to tell you where this Hebrew language actually came from. We're going to go and look at the language itself and where it actually came from. We're going to dive into that. One thing that is for certain is that when supposedly Moses went up on the mountain and received the Ten Commandments, it wasn't in Hebrew. Now, that's what your Bible tells you, but when you look at it from a historical perspective on when the Hebrew language is actually a written and spoken language, you're going to see that Hebrew didn't exist until a little bit later on. So the timing of that is off. All right, let me see what you're saying here again. I mean, if someone is coming after you and your family, would you be mindful of not destroy their holy? I hope I'm understanding only. I mean, if someone is coming after you and your family, would you be mindful not to destroy their whole? When I'm understanding, let me read it one more time. I mean, if someone is coming after you and your family, would you be mindful not to destroy their holy sites, to demoralize them, not to kill everyone? Well, all I can say is this, because like I said again, I'm still not getting you, but you can email me too. Maybe so I can really understand what you're saying there. Basically, what that rabbi, I think we can both agree what that rabbi said was totally insane. I think we can agree with that point. But it's a very demonic strategy nonetheless. And what I was saying is this is a strategy that they've used on our people, but not just our people, on other people as well. I think we can agree on that. But email me and let me know on that. Okay, if I'm missing anything, and I do apologize if I am. So here's the thing. Now, as much as our people want to say, because I'm seeing it's a strong uptick. I'm even seeing channels that don't even talk about Hebrew stuff. Now, all of a sudden, they're all up on this now. It's like the next best thing for them now. Here's the thing. When you start looking at the actual people, who they are, the focus is pretty much has been on the color of the people and not the character of the people. Let me say that again. The focus of much of what you who are watching me right now has been on is not is been the skin color of the people and not their character. Case in point, you have many platforms out here that are so in love with the Sephardic Jews. They want you to believe that you yourself came from a lineage of Sephardic Jews. But they won't tell you, and I'm like sitting up here like, bruh, do you know what the Sephardics did? I mean, if you read the whole context of the historical story, these people were also enslaving us. They weren't the only ones, but they were enslaving us too. But people won't even look at that. You get so moved by, oh, it's in this documentary, the way they presented it, oh, it's this, that, or whatever. But if you take the time and read about what these people did, it doesn't matter if they were black, white, it don't matter. They enslaved you. Period. And then what people like to do is say, oh, well, they were whited out. It don't matter if they're whited out, blacked out. It doesn't matter. These people enslaved you. They did. But people are so in love with these people. They're so in love with it that they won't even bother to look at the rest of the historical record. They won't. And that's what we try to encourage our people to do on this platform. And I've said this many times before, and I continue to say it. If you go to mybontube.com, do a search for a very simple word. It's called GIFT, G-I-F-T. We created a free library of over 100 books that go into great detail. See, one thing we're not going to do, and I see the game people play out here. They'll do these documentaries and videos, and they'll show you a little excerpt of an old book that they found, and nobody else can get it, family, but we were able to get it. But they'll find his own little clip that they'll show you, and that nobody else can get it. We had to put out a lot of money for this. Family, you ain't got to do all that. There's many books out here that give a lot of reference to many of those things and then some. So what we did was we was able to either buy or acquire over 100 books. I have even more than that I haven't even added yet. Created a free online library that you can access. As long as you got a drive, you can download all the books. They're all in PDF format. And you can study to your heart's content on the actual historical record from all types of sources. You understand what I'm saying? So we're not going to make it into some kind of mystery, because there's no mystery to any of this stuff. You just have to be willing to go after the truth. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what this is about. Anyway, let me get back to this. So these people enslaved you. That's what I'm trying to tell you. These people enslaved you. So why would you want to go an extra mile? English language is bad enough. So why would you want to go even a further mile to another culture that enslaved you? Why would you want to do that when you start thinking about this? And here's another point. When we started, I'm talking about my wife and I now. We started thinking about this, because remember now, we're just coming out of this, okay? So we're not speaking from on top of mount we've acquired and achieved. You know what I'm saying? We're still unlearning things right now. So that's where we're coming from. But I want to read this part as well. Oh, can we get a call in? I ain't set up for that. You can email me though. Okay, connect at journeymanandwoman.com. Okay, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Okay. Um, okay, so let me read this. Any belief system, now this is the part here that's going to mess some people up. Any belief system that tells you that your identity as a people are wrapped up in a set of curses, not cultural practices, traditions, and expressions that can be traced directly to you and your family today, but curses. You might want to start asking some deeper questions. Let me read that again. Any belief system that tells you that your identity as an individual, as a human being, your identity and who you are, everybody wants to know who they are. But if a belief system is telling you, black man, black woman, if you want to know who you really are, you have to look at these lists of curses to get the identity of who you are. Not the cultural practices and traditions that can easily be measured and seen even here in 2023. Not any of that, all the good things. The way we dance, the way we sing, the way we cook, the way we do our facial expressions, the way we think, the way we build, the way we process things, the way we imagine and dream and all this other stuff. All of those things can be traced all the way back to Africa. All of it can be. But if a belief system is telling you, in a part of my language, to damn all of that, instead, your identity is wrapped up in a list of curses, you might want to start asking some deeper questions. It's a very important point because, like many of you, when I came into the Hebrew space, so to speak, it's a very convincing argument. It's a very convincing argument when you look at the Deuteronomy thing and you see all the curses that are listed there. It's a very convincing argument. It really is. However, are you telling me that that's the only way that I can be identified as an individual is by a list of curses? Well, that explains a lot on why I'm seeing so many people depressed then, and angry and bitter and just all kinds of stuff. Where's the joy in that? You know what I'm saying? You telling me no matter what I do in life, period, I can only be identified, I don't have a Bible with me, by the curses listed in this book. I want you to understand that for a second. When you look at other religions throughout the world, the gods and the deities and stuff that they worship, that those deities, those gods, those goddesses that they worship represent a sum total of all what's good in those people. When you look at Greece, when we say good, we're going to do air quotes on that, right? When you look at Greece, when you look at Roman culture, when you look at when you go in India, wherever culture you go into, you go in the Polynesian, the Pacific Isles, when you go wherever, those deities represent the sum total of what is perceived as good for those people. So when they worshiping that deity, when they're worshiping those gods, when they're worshiping those goddesses, what they're really doing is worshiping themselves, quite honestly. When you start thinking about it, it's because it represents a sum total of who they are. You understand what I'm saying? Well, it's the same. So now, but when it comes to us as a people, We can't say that, can we? I'm talking about the Deuteronomy folks. We can't say that, can we? Well, the only way I can recognize that the Creator has selected us to be the set aside people is by all the curses that He listed for me. Huh? What? That's it? All the curses. That's how the Father of us all has identified us, is by the curses. If that don't say bastard, and I don't know what else, I don't know what else does, for real. how many how many ways you can say bastard for 100? I mean, it's just, I'm just saying. So once I began to look at it in that way, and I began to understand it, I was like, wait a minute, something about this ain't right. Plus the fact that, we're talking about my family now. We were in Christianity. We saw all the stuff that's in Christianity, right? And we were like, we're done with Christianity. We came into a new construct, even though it wasn't a Christian construct. You cannot deny that it's not a Christian based construct. Let me go even further. A Judeo Christian based construct. So as much as you may have to say about these people, and you know who I'm talking about, you are still using their stuff to identify who you are. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're still using their stuff. You're just reimagining it and reinterpreting it to make you feel better about yourself. But in reality, no. You're still using their stuff. And like it or not, you are still in league with people like this rabbi that's saying what he's saying. You're still in league with people like this. And so once I began to see that for myself and I began to understand it, I was like, wait a doggone minute here. Wait a minute. You mean I'm just repeating it just on a different, it's just another version of it? I was like, oh, no, man, no, let me get. So again, what I'm doing right now is what we're doing is I am immersing myself in His creation. And again, it's not worshiping trees, it's not worshiping plants, it's not worshiping animals. It's getting to know how these things work in nature. And as I begin to start learning about these different things, now I'm starting to understand more about His character. And I'm like, man, Most High, if you would do that for this tree, how much more how much more did you put inside of me? You know what I'm saying? And I'm learning that what He has put inside of me as an individual, it can't be contained in any book. It can't. And so once I began to see that and understand that for what it was so, and it still is, very life-changing for me, to say the least. And I know there are people out here who are listening, and what I'm saying to you, it may be very, I don't know, scaring. It may be intimidating. It may be something where you're like, whoa, you off in that stuff now. No, where that's coming from is a place where you're so used to being on a plantation, and I'm just going to say it. In other words, you want to be in a place where someone is telling you what to believe, what to think, how to operate, how to function, how to do this, how to do that. You need a moray in your life. You need a pastor in your life. What I'm telling you is, no, you don't. You can, elders are very important, but proven elders. I'm not talking about someone that you just roll up into an assembly somewhere and all of a sudden, you're my elder, I don't know you. How long you been? I got very few elders in my life intentionally for that reason. There are people that I would consider elders in my life who know me for a very long time. What I look like going into a church or an assembly, and I'm just meeting the people, and all of a sudden I'm like, elder, I don't know you. You don't know nothing about me, and you trying to speak in my life, and you better go sit all the way down with that. But a lot of our people find themselves entrapped in that, just like you and I. Now, you and I, we sit here and we talk. Y'all know me, just on camera and all that stuff. But we haven't, many of us haven't really met. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have the power to tell you, okay, now in Nguzo, the Lord is telling me that you need to do this. And I don't have that power. You understand what I'm saying? Now, I can give based off of my experiences, different things, okay, what I've learned and all that stuff. But ultimately, it's up to you. You understand what I'm saying? And here's the thing. When you are following his creation, because see, people get scared of this. His creation, one thing about his creation is that there's order in it. There's order in his creation. So, for example, when we talk about the LGBT thing, for example, there are no LGBT birds. There are no LGBT plants. There are no LGBT fish. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm just using that as an example. There is order in his nature. So when you see things, so I'm not going to want to do those things, not because of a book telling me not to do it. I don't want to do it because I don't see it practiced in his creation. So if it's not being practiced in his creation, then I ain't trying to do that. For our brothers and even sisters out here, pornography. This is another thing. All right? Pornography. When's the last time you seen trees and birds and plants and animals looking at pornography? You walking in the woods and you see a tree going like this with a big old leaf, like, dang, you see that? You see that tree? Man, that tree, she look good, don't she? You don't see that. You don't see nature doing that. You don't see nothing in nature doing that. Or the lion or the tiger or whatever up there like looking at pornography and all. You don't see that. There's a commitment that they have to who they connect with, to raise a family and to do that. Well, likewise, it's the same for us. So what am I doing? I'm following his creation. So when I'm following his creation, as long as I'm doing that, I'm good. So that's why for me, for example, I don't have eyes for anybody else. You understand what I'm saying? I don't have eyes for any other women in my life. I don't have eyes, okay, I need to get some 20 women or 30 women or something up under me and all that. I ain't looking for that. I got one woman that I'm madly in love with, and I'm greatly appreciative of the fact that he blessed me with that. And from there, I'm able to build legacy. That's this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm trying to tell you. So all I'm doing is following his nature. I'm not following. It's you may think, okay, well, the Bible says we got to do this, and the Bible says we got to do that. What I'm telling you is that your Creator cannot fit within a book, and all you got to do is step out, learn about His creation, and you're gonna see there's order. And as long as you follow that order, you're gonna be fine. See, I would be scared to say that back in the day. I'm like, no, but the Bible says, the scripture says this. I got to follow it. Because if I don't, beating yourself up. And what I'm submitting to you is that our ancestors, I'm talking about for those of us that came out of Africa, we had this same mindset. When you start digging into it, I remember it's funny now to watch some of these platforms, and now all of a sudden, now everybody wants to be Bantu again. Now Bantu is safe to say. When we were talking about it, it was a curse. It was like, I ain't trying to be part of no Bantu, nothing. Now all of a sudden, people, now we doing it. It's funny. Anyway, but when you start looking at the Bantus, because a lot of our people came out of Bantu culture. There's other African cultures our people came out of as well. But Bantu, in the first major wave of Africans that came over as slaves, the majority of them were Bantu. All right. Later on, then you had the Igbo and some of these other groups, but the majority were Bantu. When you start going into that and start learning about their belief system, especially prior to slavery, what you're going to find is that their belief system, spiritual belief system, the basics of it, the basics. It's interesting because now I'm beginning to see, now I see where the Bible got this from. Now I see where these other people got this from. I mean, it's crazy. When you start looking at it, it's like, what in the absolute world? So the people who wrote the Bible were actually taking stuff from the people that they enslaved. So I'm not gonna go through y'all filter because y'all filter always gonna leave stuff out. And I don't give two craps about what Rome, they're hiding the secrets. You know, it's Rome, they're hiding the secrets. We got to get access to that basement. Burn it up. I don't care because his creation, our creator, cannot be hidden in a freaking library. He can never be hidden in a library. For anybody to sit up here and to say or to suggest that all the secrets that we need to know are hidden in Rome, you are not thinking large enough. Because Rome, any other church, any other institution cannot hide our creator in a basement somewhere. I want you to understand that. So I don't care what Rome may have in their basement. You understand what I'm saying? My creator is bigger than that. He's bigger than that. And that's what I want y'all to understand. But the first call to duty is what? Is to learn his creation. And once you start learning his creation, what begins to happen? You start becoming more connected with him. You start to understand who he is even more. What I started off in this broadcast, early part of this broadcast, these people, the tactic that they use, they said the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come in and we're going to destroy all your spirituality. That's exactly what they did. Now you just imagine our people starts coming back to understanding his creation. When you start doing that, you're going to begin to see some fascinating things begin to happen. Make no mistake about it. So don't ever believe that Rome has the power or the ability to hide secrets from you. They can keep them all, baby. I don't care. They can keep all of them. Because there's nothing secret to him that if he wants me to have access to it, he will give us access to it. I don't have to wait for a Christian bookstore to release it. Okay? Now, if you want to do that, that's you. But in the meantime, I'm going to be out here in this grass, in this sun, learning about these trees, learning about his creation. And by doing so, I'm going to learn more about him. And that is what our encouragement is here as I'm bringing this to a close. And this is what we want our people to understand. And that's the trajectory that this platform is on now. You know, you're going to see us really getting out here a lot more in nature, learning how these different things can be a help and a blessing to us. You know, the functionality of different trees, rocks, things like that. Again, we're not worshiping any of these things, but all of these things were given to us. Our creator put them all here for a reason, and it was for us to learn about him through that. So a lot of people get caught up in, oh, the holy rocks. I'm gonna worship the holy rock. Nobody's doing that. Now, we ain't doing that. And there's some other people do that. I ain't doing that. I want to learn him. What I look like worshiping a rock? We had a person a while back did a whole video. You know how we sell like stone, like jewelry, stones, right? That's all it is. It's just jewelry. It literally, that's all it is. Someone did a whole video talking about how we're training people how to worship stones and rocks. I'm like, dummy, if you don't go sit down somewhere, nobody's doing that. But what we're learning is to have a great appreciation for his creation. And by doing so, we're learning a lot more about him. And that's what we want. That's our goal and that's our focus. That's our emphasis here, is that we want our people to get closer and closer to him. And the best way to do that is through his nature. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. So anyway, I think that's it. I think that's all I wanted to share. Let me look through these comments here and see if I'm missing anything from anybody. But yeah, if y'all had any questions for me or whatever, thank you, Psalms, too, for helping out. If you have any other questions for us or whatever, you can always email us at any time. We're here. I'll get to you as soon as I can. And, Just make sure, like, a lot, if your phone is you can play audio messages, because a lot of times I like to respond with an audio message, you know, because I don't like doing all that typing. I just want to respond with an audio message. So as long as your phone or your device can play that back, you should be good to go. And because I want people also to hear me, because a lot of times people can read and get, well, why are you yelling at me? And I'm like, dude, I'm not yelling. I'm just answering your question. But when they hear you, it makes a better connection with people, when it comes to that. So, but yeah, that's kind of where we are, family. That's where we're heading, and it's a very exciting time that we're in right now. So many of you are going to be challenged big time because this is all we've known up to this point. But once you get to the realization that what these people gave you, called the Bible, it's no trickery in the sense of, because see, this is another thing we say, well, they gave us the Bible, but our history is really in it. They're just kind of tricking us. They try to make it about us, about them, but they really made it about us. Now let me ask you something. I want you to think through that logic for a second. If you were being held captive, why on earth, for example, if you are in prison, why on earth would you, if someone is a guardian of the prison, give you a book, instruction book on how to get out of prison? I'll wait. I'll wait. See, we talk about the oppressor, the oppressor, the oppressor, right? But I'm just want to ask. I'm just curious. If you're in prison, name me the prison in your state that gives out instruction booklets on how to break out of prison. I'm waiting. Because maybe that's a new phenomenon. Maybe that's something that's been going on. I never knew. Name me the prison that has issued out instruction booklets on how they can break out of prison. I'm waiting. Still waiting. You see how we've deceived ourselves, family? We tell ourselves these things in order to find a sense of purpose in their deception. They gave us a book they gave us this book so that, because, and then they tricked us into whiting everything out. They're not giving you that to give you your history. Because if the last thing I'm going to do is give you a book that's going to tell you or tell me you're in prison, and I'm going to give you a book on how you can access weapons, how you can access spiritual devices and things like that, how you can defeat the enemy that's capturing you. I've never heard of any scenario in any war story or any historical account where the captor gave the captee an instruction booklet on how they can break out of prison. Never heard of that. But this is what we tell ourselves. And again, I'm not telling you, again, when it comes to the Bible, and this is where people jump to conclusions, we're not telling people to throw out the Bible and to trash it. I'm not telling you that. You need to keep all your receipts. Keep all of them. Because I think it's part of the unlearning process. But you need to keep all of these things. So we're not telling people to... And you can't tell an effective lie without some truth. You need some truth in order to tell an effective lie. So in the Bible, there are truths in the Bible. I can't say that enough. There's many truths in the Bible. But there's also things in there that are lies. But the one thing you do need to understand is that these people are not going to give you an instruction booklet on how you can be set free. They're never going to do that. They're never, ever, ever going to do that. There is no historical precedent that you can point to where a captor gave their people that they captured an instruction booklet on how they can be set free. There's no historical precedent to that. None at all. So what does that leave us with? Well, that leaves it very simple, where we have to walk away from that and begin to embrace Him and Him only. And that's what I'm encouraging to do. All right? All right, family, well, that's all I have for you today. Just wanted to chat. Haven't been here, haven't gone live in a while. I needed a couple of days too, just to kind of let my body recover. So I'm doing better now. So I'm gonna get out here in this sun and just enjoy a few minutes. And yeah, you just use discernment in everything. In everything, use discernment. Everything that we say on this platform, we welcome people to investigate, to challenge, to look at it. You know, as long as you're respectful, that's fine. You know what I mean? And really, that's it. So, family, listen, you guys take care. We love you very much. Next week, we'll get right back into putting out content on a regular basis, and that's it. So, all right, you guys take care. Love you very much. Thank y'all for showing up here. I'm trying to see what's on here. All right, and that's it. Love you guys. You guys take care.